After fleeing the battle against Mr. Hyde, Felicia Hardy recalls how her lack of powers led to Spider-Man getting hurt. To overcome this problem in her team-ups with her lover, Felicia is determined to get superpowers of her own. Meanwhile, Peter sulks over the fact that Black Cat ran away from him in their last encounter. He recalls how he tracked Cat down, but they argued, and she ran off before he could give her credit for her help. Then, Peter sets off to find Felicia, as he is falling for her. Meanwhile, Felicia visits multiple well-known heroes around the city in hope of finding a way to attain powers. Eventually, she goes to the Avengers mansion but is captured by their security, and after speaking with Wasp and Captain America, she is denied help. Next, Felicia visits the Fantastic Four, and after a short fight, she is again refused assistance. Out of options with superheroes, Felicia decides to see if any of her former criminal colleagues can assist her. After asking around, Felicia is eventually given the opportunity to acquire powers by a mysterious benefactor. After various experiments, Felicia is given the bad luck powers that she used to use as a hoax. Then, she is tested in combat, and the powers trip up her opponents, proving that the operation was successful. Afterward, Kingpin makes his appearance, revealing that he was her benefactor, and all that he asks in return is for the Black Cat to perform a future favor. Cat makes the deal with Kingpin, so long as the favor does not involve hurting Spider-Man. Unable to track down the Black Cat, Peter soon tries to call Felicia to straighten out their relationship, but there is no answer, so he leaves to get food. Shortly afterward, Felicia goes to Peter's apartment hoping to confide in him and share her worries over receiving powers from the Kingpin. Unfortunately, since Peter is gone, she is unable to inform him about what happened, so she gives up and leaves. Reeling over the fact that she got powers at the cost of playing into the Kingpin schemes, Felicia replays the recent events in her mind. She fears what Spider will think of her when he learns that she got help and made an agreement with the most dangerous crime lord in the city. Felicia tries to take a walk to clear her head, but is attacked by muggers. But her powers kick in, tripping up the muggers and giving Felicia an easy victory. Then, Felicia decides it's best to tell Spider about her powers, but not how she got them, intending to create a false story about their origin. First, she goes to Peter's apartment, but it is empty, and after a brief encounter with Mrs. Muggins, she leaves before having to answer too many questions. Next, Felicia goes to Jean DeWolf, who hasn't seen Spider-Man either. There, a cop pulls a gun on Felicia, but her powers protect her again. Then, Felicia tries the bugle. After a brief spat with Jonah and a talk with Robbie, Felicia learns like everyone else, they haven't seen him either. Trying the Avengers mansion, Felicia's powers again assist her in getting past the security system, but they have not seen Spider-Man either. Finally, Felicia takes a train to Aunt May's boarding house. There, she startles a woman while looking around, but doesn't know which woman is Peter's aunt. Hiding out in a tree, Felicia again mulls over whether she should tell Spider-Man about her powers when he suddenly startles her, asking what she's doing. Felicia notices Spider-Man has a new black costume, and Peter says it's a long story on how he got it. When he asks her again what she is doing there, Felicia hesitates, and with all her doubts and reservations that have raged inside her that long night, she only replies that she missed Spider-Man and wanted to see him. However, Felicia is soon spooked by the new costume and flees from Spider-Man, uncertain it's really him. But Peter catches her on the rooftops and explains how he got the new suit when transported away from Earth in the Beyonders' Secret Wars. Peter admits his love and respect for Cat, and she responds that there is nowhere she'd rather be than prowling the night with her spider. Then, using his suit's abilities, Peter opens up the mask to share a kiss with Felicia. The next day, Black Cat visits Peter's apartment, and after Peter scolds her for not being careful with his secret identity, Felicia admits there isn't really any connection between her and Parker, it's her spider that she's interested in. Peter protests that he and Spider-Man are the same, but Felicia hushes him, saying there is an emergency and she needs his help as Spider-Man. Cat then leads Spidey to the Blob, who is going on a rampage in the streets. But when Spidey is in trouble, Felicia jumps in to assist him. Spidey then shoves Cat aside in an attempt to fight on his own, but the Black Cat continues to intervene, and her bad luck powers lead to the Blob tripping up in the battle. The fight ends when Blob is reminded of his friend who died recently, and the duo watches in amazement as Blob sits on the street sulking. Seeing how well Felicia did in the fight, Spidey admits she can handle herself, and he was being overprotective. This causes Felicia to again consider telling Spider about her powers, but the Kingpin's involvement still has her reluctant to say anything. Then, the duo leave as Jean DeWolf arrives to take the Blob into custody. After the battle, Spidey and Black Cat kiss on the rooftops. Then, Peter shares that even though he's managed not to foul up things with Felicia, his life as Peter Parker is a different story. As he begins to open up about his personal life, Felicia hushes Spidey, saying that's Peter Parker's worries, not his. Then Felicia leaves to get the camera she left behind at their last battle, and Peter thinks that while Felicia isn't sympathetic to his personal problems, at least it keeps him from wallowing in self-pity. The following evening, Felicia wakes Peter by knocking on his window. Peter learns that she is scared because she is being followed. He then takes her up to a nearby rooftop, and they find that her follower is the villain known as the Answer. Spidey engages in battle and Felicia soon joins in. However, the Answer can avoid all her attacks and avoids her bad luck powers by not directly attacking her. However, Spider-Man soon ensnares the Answer with his webs. As Peter questions why the Answer was after them, he accidentally hurts his leg, tearing his costume, but it then mends itself. Seeing this, the Answer uses the moment to free himself and traps Spidey and Felicia in the webs instead. After he departs, Spidey and Kat take advantage of their predicament of being stuck to share an intimate kiss. While Peter remains suspicious of the Answer's true motives, Felicia feigns ignorance, unwilling to reveal that she gained her powers through the Kingpin. She then keeps Peter busy with more intimacy. Later at home, Felicia dwells on her life with Spider-Man, wishing he would forget about the man beneath the mask, so they can spend their lives prowling the night together. However, since she has given up burglary, finding a way to make money is an issue that concerns her. Then, Spidey shows up to talk, and after swinging to a nearby rooftop, they discuss taking pictures for money, which Kat is fine with. However, Peter's real concern is Kat's reckless behavior that constantly risks exposing his secret identity. When he refers to himself as Peter, Felicia protests, insisting she doesn't care about his ordinary self, only Spider-Man. Peter is angry that Felicia only cares about his costume and not who he really is, and in response Felicia refuses to talk to him. Peter then swings off, telling her to talk to him when she's ready to act like a human being. Watching from a distance, the Answer sees the breakup and reports it to the Kingpin. When Felicia arrives home, the Answer is there to collect on Felicia's favor that she owes the Kingpin, who wants to ensure that Spider-Man and Black Cat repair their relationship. This leads to a fake hostage situation with Felicia, where the Answer threatens to detonate a bomb. Spider-Man saves Felicia, and it is revealed that the bomb was just a smokescreen. While he puzzles over the Answer's motives, Felicia feels guilty for lying to Spider-Man to hide her connection to the Kingpin. Still, the Kingpin's plan succeeds. Spider-Man vows to mend his relationship with Felicia. Days later, Peter calls Felicia in an attempt to mend their relationship, using her real name, and she says not to call her that. She's the Black Cat, and he is her Spider-Man. While she still hasn't totally forgiven him over their recent fight, her guilt over her dealings with the Kingpin causes her to give Peter a chance to come over and talk. However, she warns Spidey to not keep her waiting. Unfortunately, Peter does just that as he gets tied up in a battle on the way over. Meanwhile, Felicia starts to wonder if Spider-Man has decided to go after some other girl that likes him as Peter, and if so, she decides that she would not forgive him, even if he came in, crawling on his knees asking for forgiveness. That's when Spidey comes crawling in, but not to ask for forgiveness. He's been badly injured, and says he needs to find help to stop the villain Silvermane. As Kat brings Spidey back to his place, he says he must stop Silvermane from hurting innocents. But Kat says that's not their worry right now, and he should get rest. As Peter removes his suit, Kat turns away, hardly able to stand looking at him when he's not her spider. Then, Felicia offers to find Silvermane, but Peter makes her promise not to go after him on her own, as he's too dangerous. Unimpressed with his orders, Kat still decides to keep her promise, because getting involved may reveal her connection with the Kingpin. Still fearing Spidey will leave her if she tells the truth, Felicia sits on a rooftop and sees Spidey swing past, but he apparently does not hear her call to him. This causes Kat to track down Silvermane on her own. After asking around her resources in the criminal underworld, Kat gets a lead to the scene of Spidey's next battle. Peter is surprised to see Kat there, and during the battle, Kat decides to take on Silvermane solo. As Spidey protests that she promised not to fight him by herself, Kat tells Spidey that promises are made to be broken. However, Cloak steps in at the last second, and as thugs attack Kat, Spidey jumps in to her rescue. The fight suddenly ends when Dagger is taken away by the Answer, and Cloak absorbs the other criminals, leaving Spider-Man and Black Cat behind. Some time later, as Peter dwells on his relationship with Black Cat, and how she can't stand him as Peter but loves him as Spider-Man, Cat suddenly appears in a playful mood. Peter tries to tell Felicia about his problems at the Bugle, but she insists those are Peter Parker's problems, and she is there to be focused about Spider-Man's concerns. Then Cat has Spidey chase her across the rooftops, but as he does, they are interrupted by the Collector, who captures Spidey and takes him away to a ship. After Peter deals with that, he returns to New York and finds Cat at her apartment to assure her he's okay. Cat says she didn't ask around for him anywhere because she knew he'd be upset about her jeopardizing his identity, so she just sat there and worried the whole time. Spidey tells her that he'll meet her later after getting some rest, and returns back to his place. Later, Peter returns to Cat as Spider-Man after suggesting they spend the night in, like a normal couple. He presents a gift to Black Cat, a wine carafe, and she kisses him in return as a thank you. While they agree to stay in for the night, Felicia puts the gift in the kitchen, but when she returns to prepare dinner, the gift is gone. Not wanting to look like a flake for losing it, Felicia pretends to not have any wine, so Peter says he'll go get some. Meanwhile, Felicia searches for the missing carafe and finds a clue in the kitchen which leads her to a nearby restaurant. There Felicia finds her gift, but she is held at gunpoint by a mysterious figure who takes it. While Felicia pursues the mystery figure, she briefly stops back home to find Peter there watching TV. She says to give her a bit longer in the kitchen but don't disturb her as she sneaks back out to go after the mystery figure. Upon tracking the person down again, the wine carafe gets smashed, and the mystery figure is revealed to be Tammy, Felicia's old cat burglar friend who is playing a game with her. Felicia then gets upset because all this has caused her to once again lie and keep secrets from Spider-Man, just like she has been doing about her powers and her deal with the Kingpin. This causes Felicia to confront the fact that, despite her love for Spider-Man, she just doesn't know how to talk to him half the time. Then, Tammy joins Felicia as she returns home and observes Spider-Man and Black Cat that evening and how the gift is never even mentioned between them. She notices how Felicia seems to have lost her carefree spirit, wondering what has happened to her, and ponders whether Felicia will truly be able to find happiness with Spider-Man. Some time later, Spidey meets up with Cat again, and while he breaks up a warehouse robbery, she takes pictures for him. While Cat knows it's helping him financially, she wishes he wouldn't get all the fun. However, when Spidey is surrounded, Cat takes the opportunity to jump in. Her bad luck powers assist in the fight, tripping up the thugs, but Peter wishes she would be more careful. After webbing the crooks, the pair go to the rooftops where Spidey warns Cat about taking unnecessary risks without powers, but Cat assures him she can handle herself. Then Spidey leaves as he kisses Cat goodbye, while she once again wonders how she can admit the truth to Spider. Later, during Spider-Man's fight with Puma, Black Cat jumps in to assist at the last second. Cat fights Puma but he falls through the roof, and then Felicia joins Peter as he returns to his apartment. There, Felicia watches in awe as Peter's costume snakes across the floor. As she talks to Peter about the costume and his injury, Felicia's thoughts turn to how Peter lives in a dump. She does not understand how he has any interest in living his life as a normal civilian when he could be Spider-Man all the time. She loves Spider-Man, but she can hardly bear to look at him when his mask is removed. Then, Peter asks how Cat was able to beat Puma, and she avoids the question and leaves, thinking of how she couldn't stand being in such a dumpy apartment. Just then Mary Jane visits, and after seeing Peter's injuries and witnessing another battle at Peter's apartment, she reveals that she knows he is Spider-Man. After the revelation, Mary Jane is about to leave Peter's place, but Black Cat returns first, and upon seeing MJ, interrogates Peter about who she is and what she's doing there. Peter pleads for MJ not to go, but Cat tells Peter to let her go, and calling MJ a bimbo, tells Peter he doesn't need her. This angers Peter, and yells at Cat that Mary Jane is his friend, and once again Cat ruined everything by recklessly showing up unannounced at his place. But Cat retorts that she was glad she did, as it helped her discover the truth, but as Peter stops her with a webline, she changes her tune, realizing he stopped her from leaving but not Mary Jane. To Felicia, she assumes this means her Spider-Man values her more, while Peter questions how his suit somehow shot a web out on its own without him even realizing it could do that. After Felicia leaves, Peter begins to doubt the stability of his relationship with her. After turning to his old costume, Spidey stumbles upon Black Cat on the rooftops and says they should track down Dagger. To this, Felicia questions if Dagger is another romantic partner in Spidey's life, like the red-headed bimbo she met the other day. Finding her assertions unreasonable, Peter turns his focus back to saving Dagger's life and finding out the mystery of what the answer wants. But Felicia is unwilling to share what she knows to protect her long-held secrets about her powers. Later, as they look for Dagger, Felicia shares that they should try the Kingpin's headquarters, to which Peter questions how she would know that and why didn't she tell him sooner. As Felicia hesitates, Peter starts to question what secrets she's hiding from him, but she bluntly says all she knows is the answer works for the Kingpin. However, as they head out, Peter warns Felicia that he's not done with the conversation. Finally, Black Cat and Spider-Man break into Kingpin's headquarters and search for Dagger. When they encounter the Kingpin, he reveals that Black Cat owes him a favor in front of Peter as he demands she stop Spider-Man, but she refuses. Then Silvermane arrives and Spidey attends to Cat as Kingpin is distracted. When Cloak teleports Dagger away, Kingpin blames the Black Cat and Spider-Man for their interference and swears vengeance upon them. After the battle, Spider-Man reflects on Black Cat and how it's bad enough that she only loves him as Spider-Man, but she has also been keeping secrets from him. After calling her to talk, Spidey meets Felicia on the rooftops, and as she approaches Spidey to cuddle, Peter refuses and shocks Felicia with the question of how she got her powers. Felicia tries to play coy, but Spidey sees through it, bringing up how she's fared so well in recent fights, and other heroes he's asked told him how she was searching for powers a while back. Still trying to keep her secret, Felicia lies, saying she never found powers, but Peter presses with how she knew that the answer worked for the Kingpin. Continuing to lie, Felicia says someone from the criminal underground told her, and says she won't listen to Spidey's stupid accusations for another minute, but Spidey continues to pressure her about the favor she owed Kingpin. Lying again, Felicia claims her father owed Kingpin a debt, and it carried down to her after he died, but even then Peter can't believe she never told him any of this. Becoming angry, Peter questions what kind of relationship they have with Felicia keeping all these secrets. But Kat swings off, saying she can't tell him what he wants to know, and if he won't trust her, there's nothing to discuss. Peter swings off, thinking of how he could catch up to Felicia, but he feels like too much of a hypocrite to pursue it further, as he's also kept secrets from those he loves.